Chris, you've joined us here to talk about co-creation and partnership in logistics. And I wanted to start with the sort of logistics model that you have at GKN, because you, as I understand it, you've gone from a 4PL, an in-house 4PL model, to a change now working with your plants. Can you tell us a little bit more about this change and what it means for your logistics?
Yes, yeah, you're absolutely right. And yeah, it was a big change for the business at the time. We had our own in-house teams, a lot of knowledge, a lot of expertise, people that have worked in the logistics industry for long periods. We changed the focus. The aim was to have that responsibility for the logistics activity at a local level rather than a central level, but we wanted to maintain the structure at a central level. So, we still have a core team. It's not as if everything is locally organised. We have a core team that maintain that structure. But going on from there, it really changed our relationships with our partners. We started to become more of a partnership with our logistics providers. We really needed them to understand our business more. Rather than us just give them instructions, we needed them to understand why and how we do things, so then they can support our teams locally. And that was very important to the success of the transition that we did. So
in a way, there was a sort of closer integration with these partners. They needed to become more value-added partners in the process.
That's correct. And with that, we had to provide transparency and give them information of why we do things, how we do things, so they could then give that support as well.
So on the topic of sharing information, I mean, one of the topics that's coming up a lot at our event, especially for tier ones, is managing that demand volatility, and especially the gap, let's say, sometimes between forecast and the call-offs from the OEMs. For you and your team and your plants, how are you working, or are you introducing tools or processes to help smooth and manage that volatility?
I think we have there's some tools in place, but it's still very difficult to manage with tools. And at the moment, we're kind of very reliant on kind of interaction with our production teams, and then transferring that message to our logistics providers. We're trying to build that flexibility with our logistics providers, which it's not always easy. But they want some sort of commitment. We want to kind of be able to be flexible with them. But really it's people that are trying to look at trends to try and understand and provide better information as to what will actually happen in the next couple of weeks and months to come.
And again, on that topic, obviously that's a question we don't know about on many levels, with all the geopolitical uncertainty, disruption, potential tariffs, etc. Are you working with your logistics partners to prepare or simulate scenarios as best as you can?
Yeah. I think we talk a lot about the disruptions that we see within the industry, and it's like it's become the new normal now. We've seen and we see a lot all of the different problems that we have year after year after year, and so this is now become a way of working. And yes, I think it's important that we work with our partners to try and understand what solutions are on the market for that particular disruption. We obviously have to understand ourselves where the risk areas are in our business first. So we have to do our analysis. We then have to take it to our partners and say, this is our problem, this is where we see our biggest risk. Can you support? What solutions are there? What are you offering? What are you working with other partners in our position as well? Because it's good to learn from other experiences and other ways of working as well. So that's our kind of general focus.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I know one of the priorities for you and many of your peers here is also logistics transparency, improving delivery ETAs and accuracy. How would you identify some of the priorities and steps you're taking to improve that?
Yeah, inventory demands a big KPI for everyone, ourselves in particular. Having that on-time arrival is key, and when you're facing disruptions, various problems and demand changes, that becomes very different. So being able to react as soon as you can see if there is a delay is very important. I think ultimately the information that you get is only good as the source that provides that information.
Yeah.
So really you need to be able to monitor that and highlight to your logistics providers where you don't have that visibility or where you think it's particularly poor. I know we've struggled recently more with shipments that go through transshipment hubs or ports, and then all of a sudden you start getting a bit of a blind spot. So we're trying to work with our carriers to improve that. I think there's more improvement that needs to be done. We all dream of this real-time visibility. I think the Amazon effect is what we all want. In reality, we don't have that at the moment. And so because of that, we have an expectation from our logistics providers that they're proactively going to work with us and tell us when they see problems with our shipments, and contact our local team. So then solutions can be discussed and we can move forward on there and avert risk of delays.
So a really clear theme on exchange of information, both ways really, with you to your partners and obviously what they can share back to you.
Yep.
And maybe last question. So obviously again, we're focusing a lot on logistics partnership and how we can have win-win relationships. Obviously the change in the model is one factor. When you look further ahead, when you look to 2030 or beyond, how do you think this sort of partnership needs to evolve further to meet your medium and long-term goals?
Yeah, I think we're all looking at new ways of working within the business. We're involving what we do today isn't going to be the same as what we do tomorrow or next week or next year. There's new technology, there's new kind of routing. We've been speaking a lot about intermodal. I think things like intermodal are the future, especially when you look at European road freight at the moment. In years to come, that is going to be the main way to move your freight. But as a customer, we need to start taking those steps into those positions, because if we don't create a demand, then these solutions don't evolve. And I think that's important that they do evolve. So then obviously we get a better service from those solutions. So it's that's kind of in a way a kind of a chicken and egg. And I think we all need to start testing these new solutions and showing some commitment and start moving in those right areas.
Well, especially as we look at sustainability targets and the decarbonization aspects, you'll need to be a first mover on these kind of things with your partners as well.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the demand for sustainability is all the time increasing, and I think we look in plants, and there's probably a lot higher focuses in plants to reduce sustainability, and probably something that's a little bit easier to focus on at the moment. With transport as it stands at the moment, sustainability generally means more expensive, slower transit times, and that doesn't go with the KPIs that you have, with inventory and reducing cost. So, there's a kind of a balance, but as I said, if things evolve, then cost starts reducing, the customers, us in particular, need to start pushing that demand, so we can see that improvement and that evolution in these services.
Absolutely. Well, Chris, thank you so much for sharing some of your views here with us on the Red Sofa and for being with us here at Automotive Logistics and Supply Chain Europe. We're really excited to share these messages on transparency, on data and information exchange, and help build that win-win supply chain.
Yeah, thank you.